Figured I'd show you some modifications that I did. This one, it doesn't really matter, but this one is the FL-8SE. Doesn't look like the GoPro really wants to focus on it. But I got a couple of things. I got the depth finder. I didn't like it back here. It works okay back here, but you kind of have to maneuver it weird to see it. And so when I first drop it down a hole, it's just easy for me to do that. So two things that I did. Number one is this thing. With the battery in here and the little cup thing that they have that comes with it. This thing. There's just not a lot of room, and I didn't want to mess around with it. So what I wanted to do was take the battery out of this and have more room. So in here I've got a ton more room. There's no battery. And as you can see, there's a ton of room in there. I might end up putting a little dam in there so things can't go up front. But without the battery, it's super light. So, but, you know, and what I did was I put the battery in this. This is going to serve a few purposes. Inside the here, which is a lot of wiring, and I can explain the wiring if somebody needs it. I didn't vacuum out what I did. But there's a lot of cushion. I put this foam, which I actually got at Walmart, which is funny, underneath and on the sides, and wired it in. You can see the large slew of wires, which kind of looks worse than it is. I did, I don't know if you can see in there, right inside here, I took some wire and made a thing so that it would, the lid would stop. I didn't want the lid to open up too far. But I can store things in here on like super cold days if I'm going to be outside. I left enough room to be able to put heater packs, those little hand warmers, in there. On the outside, I did a few things. On the outside, I did a couple things. I have a master switch. This master switch is going to allow me to make sure that the battery is off and not connected to anything no matter what. And I also have a voltage meter. I have my master connect to connect to the Vexilar, and then this is the wire to charge the battery. So turn the master on and you can see the voltmeter. I don't know if the voltmeter really draws much power, so I had a switch to be able to turn that off. Battery's still on, but the voltmeter doesn't show. I drilled holes. Originally, I put the Vexilar itself onto the ammo can as well, but I didn't like it. I didn't like the way that it sat. I didn't like the way that it was. So that didn't work. But the other thing was I wanted to be able to use the Vexilar. And if I'm just going to go and I'm going to go drill a bunch of holes, I don't want to have to bring both of these with me. That's a lot. So what I did was I made this. This is a hobby battery. They're very cheap. This specific one, I bought a bunch of them for 50 cents a piece off of a clearance website. But even on that website, they were $15 originally. And I saw them on eBay for a lot less. So you can always find these. I will put the specs for this up. I believe it's a 900 milliamp per hour battery. So it's not bad. And I made a quick disconnect for this as well, so that the battery, you know, especially when I charge it, it's off. And then I got this long cable with these attached end to it to connect to the actual box. So I'll actually, you know, run through both of them, and I have it set up so that I can run either battery, and I'll actually show you right now. So it's compact. You can see there's nothing. It's only this little tiny battery that I have hooked up, and you can see it does work. Everything turns on the way it's supposed to. I don't have everything plugged in, so you're not seeing the depth right away. But it does work. It's got full function. It's got everything it's supposed to do. And it's only running off this little battery. So, what I'll do right now is I'll unplug this battery. As you can see, nothing. It's got no power to it. And I'll take this out. And I have the connector that I made. And I will plug that into this guy. Just plugged into here. I'll turn this back on. It's nice to be able to see the readout. You can actually see when you're getting low. I mean, you do have this, but not everybody has it. It was 50 bucks. It's a little expensive. So there you go. Turn that on. This is disconnected, so it's running just off of the other battery, which, you know, the battery it's supposed to be on. So for me, I have a shanty, and it's just easier for me to be able to, you know, I have the small battery for if I'm going to holes and doing all this stuff. But the nice thing about this is I'm going to reuse these holes, and I'm going to put things like a USB in here. You know, probably a couple more of these connectors, and I can run anything off this battery. The Vexilar batteries are great batteries. They run really well, and you know, it's really simple. There's really not a whole lot of wires you got to worry about. But one of the main reasons I did it was because I didn't like how this thing just sat on top. I didn't like how it didn't really fit in there well, and as I was moving it around, it didn't have the mobility that I really wanted. And that battery takes up a lot of space. It's a big battery. So I did that, and it just makes it a lot easier. As well as, you know, I've got a couple of these small little batteries. They're great to have for backup. They last, you know, they last surprisingly well. You know, you can still charge it with, you know, a regular LiPo charger, and it works really well. And, you know, you could, if you really wanted to, you know, there is a lot of space in here. It's easy. You could store all kinds of stuff in there, more bait, more you know, lures or anything like that. You can make it waterproof. I didn't bother making it waterproof. It's in shanty most of the time anyway, so it is what it is. And so yeah, that's my setup. So I'll put this up. You know, I'll put links to the different you know, things that I used. These things are cheap. It comes as a pair. I think I bought them off of eBay. If you're not good with electronics, it might take you a minute to figure out how to put them all together. But I bought 10 of these connectors, which are waterproof. I bought 10 of them for, I want to say, $5. These are really inexpensive as well. And the ammo can, that's like 10 bucks at Walmart. It's not like a lot of money. And ultimately, one of the things that I'm going to plan to do is get a second Vexilar battery. And I want to think there might be enough. Oh, turn that off. I want to think there might be enough room down in there to mount a couple of bigger batteries and be able to mount them up there and do away with this back section. Make it even a little bit more space friendly. But then, you know, it's all trial and error. But it's nice having the less weight. And one of the things I found I could do as well is I had the cup mounted backwards. Where'd the cup go? I had the cup mounted backwards, and I had it here. And I actually put my jigging rod in here, and just to set it in there. And I thought about making PVC pipe inside here, and then having the 2 jigging rods and having the cup for the Vexilar transducer. And you know, if you're moving from one hole to another, you put your stuff in here. You've got one hand with your Vexilar and your jigging poles. You get the other hand, you got your auger, and it frees up a lot of space that way. You know, I didn't have my PVC in here. All I did was I only had one pole at the time, but I just set the pole right inside here. I set it right next to the foam, and I put the foam, or the transducer right there, and it freed up a lot of space. So, just an idea, something to think about. And yeah, leave me a comment if you want to know anything about it. I'll post up as best I can.